For 10 years, a small group of outlaws built the closest thing the world had ever seen to a free republic. To understand the golden age of piracy, you need to understand the world that created it. By 1700, European empires had carved up the Atlantic and Caribbean between them. Spain, England, France, and the Netherlands controlled the most profitable trade routes on Earth. These routes carried silver, gold, sugar, tobacco, and enslaved people across the Atlantic. The wealth flowing through the Caribbean was almost beyond calculation. Sailors who worked these routes were among the most brutally treated workers in the world. Pay was minimal, discipline was violent, food was rotten, and death was constant. When a war ended, as it did in 1714, thousands of trained naval sailors were dismissed. They had skills, weapons, and ships. They had no employment, no food, and no future. For many, the choice was simple: starve in a port town or take to the sea on your own terms. Piracy offered something that no empire did: a share of the profits and a vote in decisions. These men were not romantic adventurers. They were desperate, dangerous, and organized. And between 1715 and 1726, they almost broke the Atlantic Empire system entirely. In 1715, pirates established a base on the island of Nassau in the Bahamas. Nassau was a perfect location, close to shipping lanes, defensible, and outside imperial control. At its peak, Nassau housed over 1,000 pirates and became known as the Republic of Pirates. This was not chaos. It was a functioning alternative society with its own rules. Pirate ships operated under written articles, contracts that all crew members signed. Every man got a vote on major decisions. The captain could be removed by majority vote. Profits were divided according to agreed shares. Even the lowest crewmen received a fixed cut. Injured pirates received compensation, the world's first recorded workers' injury scheme. Crewmen of all races served together and received equal pay, unprecedented for the era. This democratic model was revolutionary in a world of absolute monarchy and slavery. Men who had been the most powerless workers on Earth were now making collective decisions. Nassau became a haven for the desperate, the criminal, and the visionary alike. And from this base, they terrorized the Atlantic trade routes for a decade. The most famous pirate of the Golden Age was a man named Edward Teach, known as Blackbeard. Blackbeard was not the most successful pirate. He was the most terrifying. He understood that the legend was the weapon. The fear was more powerful than the cannon. Before battle, Blackbeard tied slow-burning fuses into his enormous black beard. Smoke rose around his face as he charged. Witnesses said he looked like the devil himself. His flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge, carried 40 cannons, a warship in all but name. Blackbeard blockaded the entire port of Charleston, South Carolina, in 1718. He held the city hostage until the governor sent him a chest of medical supplies. This was not random piracy. This was a calculated demonstration of power. He was sending a message to every colonial government: we can reach you. At his peak, Blackbeard commanded a fleet of 4 ships and 400 men. He controlled the North Carolina coast with the tacit approval of its corrupt governor. Then, in November 1718, the Royal Navy caught up with him. Lieutenant Robert Maynard sailed with 2 small sloops to find Blackbeard. The battle at Ocracoke Inlet on November 22, 1718 was brutal and close. Blackbeard's cannon fire nearly destroyed Maynard's lead ship. Thinking the Navy was defeated, Blackbeard's crew boarded to finish them off. It was a trap. Hidden below decks, Maynard's surviving men burst up and attacked. Blackbeard was shot 5 times and stabbed 20 times before he finally fell. Maynard hung Blackbeard's head from his bowsprit as proof of the kill. In the same year, the British government launched a full campaign against Nassau. Woodes Rogers, a former privateer, was appointed governor of the Bahamas. He arrived with a fleet, a pardon offer, and a gallows. The choice was clear. Most pirates accepted the pardon. Those who refused were hunted down. Within 2 years, Nassau was cleared. The Republic of Pirates was over. The golden age of piracy, just 10 years of organized defiance, had ended. The golden age of piracy lasted barely a decade, but its legacy lasted centuries. The democratic articles that pirates used influenced political thinkers of the era. The concept of a social contract, agreed rules, shared benefits, the right to remove leaders. was being practiced on pirate ships before it was written into any constitution. Pirate crews included formerly enslaved people who had found freedom at sea. In some cases, up to a third of a pirate crew were black sailors escaping slavery. The pirate flag, the skull and crossbones, began as a symbol of worker solidarity. It said, "We have rejected your system. We have nothing left to lose." The romanticization of pirates in fiction misses what made them truly remarkable. They were not adventurers seeking treasure. They were workers who had been pushed too far. They built a society that was more equal than any nation on Earth at the time. And for 10 extraordinary years, they almost made it work. History remembers the gallows. It forgets what the pirates were fighting for. Subscribe to SG Nova Facts for history that changes how you see the present.